One of the trends we're predicting this year is the way shifting geopolitics are creating new vulnerabilities and financial crime risks. Sanctioned vessel profiles have more than doubled between 2023 and 2025. Alternative payment systems are popping up all over the world, and we're seeing a far more fragmented payments landscape overall. Add in the increased scrutiny on export controls, and it's clear that financial institutions can't rely on simply following the money anymore. They need to understand the broader context behind it. Geopolitics is moving fast, and that creates pressure points that criminals are very quick to exploit. When sanctions expand or trade flows shift, gaps open up between jurisdictions, and those inconsistencies give illicit actors room to move funds, obscure ownership, or reroute activity through places with weaker oversight. It's not that the criminal activity itself is new, it's that the environment they operate in has become more complex and more fragmented. As a result, we're seeing more sophisticated cross-border evasion tactics and a growing reliance on opaque structures designed to stay just out of reach of traditional controls. The surge in sanctioned vessels is a good illustration of how quickly illicit networks adapt. They change their names, the flags, the ownership layers, and anything that helps them move goods or money without attracting attention. When you see vessel profiles increasing at this pace, it's usually because actors are trying to stay one step ahead of regulations and enforcement by constantly shifting their footprint. It's a reminder that sanctions are only as strong as our ability to track behaviors and patterns, not just the identifiers behind it. We're definitely seeing sanctioned actors rely on a familiar set of evasion tactics, but they're using them in more deliberate ways. Well-known activities like ship-to-ship transfers are still a big part of the picture. Vessels meeting in isolated spots, transferring cargo to mask its origin, and then re-entering the supply chain looks perfectly legitimate. And AIS manipulation is becoming more refined too. It's not just ships going dark anymore, it's signals that are subtly off, routes that don't quite match the story, or locations that look fine until you look at them over time. These techniques help actors slip past controls by creating ambiguity to make the movements look routine and normal. Individually, the signals don't always stand out, but once you put them together as part of a bigger picture, the pattern becomes much clearer. That's why the data matters so much. It helps us see the behaviors and the patterns that would otherwise be lost in the noise. So yeah, ship-to-ship transfers, spoofing, odd routing, all of that is still happening today. The difference is the level of coordination behind it, and that means we're relying more on analytics to catch these small inconsistencies that reveal the bigger picture. Effective compliance in a world shaped by constant geopolitical shifts really comes down to awareness, adaptability, and the strong fundamentals. You need to understand how sanctions, trade routes, political tensions are evolving, and what that means for the movement of goods, money, and the counterparties. It's less about rigid checklists and more about being able to quickly adjust controls when the risk picture changes. That means having good data, solid governance, and the ability to connect signals across payments, trade, and cyber activity. It also means being able to explain decisions clearly, why you've taken a particular action, how it ties back to risk. When geopolitics is this fluid, the organizations that stay effective are the ones that combine good intelligence with a good compliance framework that can bend without breaking. A big driver behind the rise in alternative payment systems is simply that some countries are being pushed out of Western networks like SWIFT. So they're building their own rails or joining regional ones like the ASEAN initiative. And even countries that aren't sanctioned are looking for ways to reduce their dependencies on the Western infrastructure. Crypto adds another dimension because new regulations are coming in that require proper screening, and that changes how firms think about routing and risk. From a compliance angle, it means we have to screen more types of payments, understand more fragmented routes, and react quickly when rules shift, just like we saw with the BIS 50% rule. It also means tightening controls around sanctioned goods, vessels, and any activity that could be part of an evasion scheme.